friends, Rebecca here, the Dragon Librarian from Farmington Community Library. And today I want to talk about a book that is getting a lot of attention. And it has ever since it came out a little bit ago. Everybody seems to be talking about it, so I thought I would give my hot take on it because I read it as soon as it came out. I was really excited to read it for a few different reasons. So I wanted to weigh in and let you guys know what I thought about this book and whether or not maybe that will help you decide whether you want to read it, or if you've already determined that you want to read it, maybe it will make you even more excited about it. So the book I'm talking about today is Spare by Prince Harry. Whew! This book packs a punch, which I'm sure you already know. If you're not aware of this book, you're probably living under a rock, but that's okay. So this is the book, the explosive book that Prince Harry has just recently come out with. It was one of the highest nonfiction selling books ever, and it's causing a lot of controversy because of his very candid kind of tell-all sort of story. And it's getting a lot of different sorts of reviews. So it's getting a lot of reviews of people saying, you know, this book is annoying. It's just this privileged guy, you know, whining for 300 some pages, almost 400. Yeah, it's just about 400 pages. It's about this privileged guy who's just whining for 400 pages, and I don't want to read anything with that. And you know, it's getting a lot of negative attention. But it's getting a lot of positive attention too. And I was so hyped to read this book. But even that being said, it took me a little while to get through it because I had to just take it in small doses. Like I was reading it like 100 pages or 50 pages to 100 pages at a time, because I didn't want to just blow through it. I needed to just take it all in and absorb it. So what are we talking about with this book? So basically, what is this book about? Well, it is his tell-all book. It starts basically from when he was a young boy, when his mother, Princess Diana, dies, and then it goes really all up until present day when he's with Meghan Markle and the birth of his children. But it talks about really everything in the middle of that as well. There's a lot of talk about him when he was in the army. And when he was basically, all the confrontations and stuff that he's had with his family over the years. And so it's a book that is absolutely fascinating. So first of all, did I like the book? Did I not like the book? I loved it. I absolutely love the book. Now, I will say up front that I love reading about the royal family. So I have always been really interested in reading about the royal family. I have a small collection of books about the royal family that I've always been very fascinated and just like sort of enthralled by them. And this book, I was really eagerly anticipating it. But so that being said, I was really excited about it in the first place. So I really wanted to read it. I think if you are a fan of the royal family, if you follow a lot of the stuff going on with the royal family, you will really like this book. Even if you're not a fan of the royal family, however, I think you will still really like this book because it's really fascinating. This is the first book, I would say, probably since Princess Diana's book that came out in the 90s by Andrew Morton, that really gives a detailed inside look at how things are run in the royal family, and the relationship between the royal family and the press, the relationships with the royal family with each other. A lot of people are mad about this book and are mad at Harry for being so candid, but I mean, I think it was very brave of him to do so. And I know, yes, he's a royal person, he's got a lot of money. How does that make somebody brave? But I think it does, because it's really hard to talk about trauma. It's not an easy thing to do, especially on a scale like this. And because he has been so vilified, and because his wife has been so vilified in the media and stuff over the years, I think that him wanting to do this was just him setting the record straight, being like, look, this is what really has happened. This is really how we were treated. This is why we've made the decisions that we've made. So if you're interested in any of those things, you're going to absolutely love this book because he goes into a lot of detail. Does he go into a little bit of too much detail? Yeah, you could definitely say that. There are some aspects of it that are like, you know, a little bit too much information, or we talked about this for a little bit too much. I was not as super interested in his you know, his exploits in the armed forces. Not that they weren't interesting, that's just not my, you know, my wheelhouse. I was not super interested in that. But it was still riveting. Even the parts of it that I thought maybe were a little bit too long, or went on and on a little bit too much, were still very interesting. So do I think this book could have been edited down a little bit? Yeah, probably. It probably could have been a little bit shorter. And not rehash some of the stuff over and over again. But I think it is beautifully written, first of all. There are a lot of, you know, memoirs and autobiographies that are just not very well written. But this one is very well written. The writing was absolutely beautiful. It's heartbreaking, which is part of why I could really only read it in small chunks, because you know, it's dealing with his trauma, you know, and the people that are making fun of him and being really nasty about it, I think shame on you, because it's really hard to talk about trauma and the things that you've gone through. And you know, just because he is a royal and experiencing it on a level that none of us will ever really be able to realize, doesn't mean it's not happening, and it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, or that he's better off than, you know, some of the rest of us. There is a line in here that I thought was absolutely fascinating, that basically says, you know, why did people want to be famous? That was the thing I never understood. Because fame is the ultimate freedom? What a joke. Some kind of fame provide extra freedom, maybe, I suppose, but royal fame is fancy captivity. Just think about that. Fancy captivity. That is a really bold statement to say, and this book is filled with bold statements. So, like I said, this is, if you're looking for a book that is salacious in its secret telling, and it's, you know, very candid, you're going to really like this book. It is very gossipy in the terms of, like, you're going to hear about conversations and fights and things like that he has had with his family, and there were a lot of times I was like, whoa, I can't believe he's actually saying this. But you know, again, bravo. I think that he is definitely so very much like the way Princess Diana was, and her approach to being candid about stuff that went on. You know, and when her book first came out, she got slammed really hard as well, because people said, you're not supposed to talk about stuff like this. This is private. You're not supposed to make it public. Well, you know, how are things going to ever change unless you are willing to talk about them, right? So no matter what you think of Harry, I think that this book is really just, it's thrilling, and it's really great look at how his mind works and all the stuff that he has gone through, and how he's working through it and working to become a better, stronger, more caring person. So it's a beautiful journey that he has to go through, and there's so many hardships, and you're just going to feel so bad for him. But in the end, ultimately, he's reached a place where he is happy, he's at peace, and he just really wanted to tell his side of the story. I 100% absolutely think this is worth a read. I'm really glad that I got it. I'm going to probably revisit it at some point, you know, after I've let it settle down and figured out, you know, now that I figured out what I wanted to say about it, I just want to, you know, sift through some of the stuff, and I will revisit it again, I'm sure, at some point. So it's absolutely worth a read. There's so many different things in there. If you're a fan of the royal family, like I said, you're going to really like it. Even if you're just, you know, you're caught up in all the news stories about this book and you're interested in it, you're really going to like it. If you just like reading memoirs and autobiographies and stuff like that, just nonfiction in general, you'll really like it. Nonfiction is not usually my go-to genre. I don't read a whole lot of it, probably not as much as I should, but I really, really enjoyed this a lot. So if you like that type of story, you're going to really enjoy this one too. So I highly recommend it. There's a lot of different people giving their hot takes on this book, but as for me, I thought it was very enjoyable. I liked reading it a lot. I loved the inside scoop on the royal family and stuff that goes on, you know, behind closed doors. I thought that was really fascinating. So if that's something that you think you will like, you will really enjoy this book. So yeah, I would definitely give it a chance, give it a shot, and see what everybody is talking about. Spare by Prince Harry. So that's what I've got for you guys today. I hope that this book is something that you're really excited about reading. If so, please feel free to come get it from Farmington Community Library. And also please give this video a like. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and have a wonderful rest of the day.